Welcome to the REI Agent, a holistic approach to life through real estate. I'm Mattias, an agent and investor.
And I'm Erica, a licensed therapist.
Join us as we interview guests that also strive to live bold and fulfilled lives through business and real estate investing.
Tune in every week for interviews with real estate agents and investors.
Ready to level up?
Let's do it.
Welcome back to the REI Agent. It's me, Mattias. I am here to intro our wonderful speaker today, Chadi Bazzi. He's a coach, real estate coach. But before I get into that, I wanted to talk a little bit about encountering hardship, encountering difficult things, getting through them. It's been a particularly difficult past couple of weeks for me. I am active in a lot of different ways. I'm an investor, landlord. I have this podcast. I sell real estate. I'm the president of our local association for realtors. And so I have a lot of hats. I have a lot of things that are on my plate. And sometimes when it starts raining in multiple areas of your life, it just starts getting overwhelming. And it's hard to not let that bleed over into the personal life, to not be affected. I mean, it's really impossible sometimes, right? To not just need a little space or whatever. But it's just one of those things that sometimes all you can do is just hang on and just keep going and know that things will work out. Like you have to work them out. Obviously, you can't just sit back and wait for them to solve themselves. But you just have to keep trucking along, do the best you can, not let it bog you down personally as much as you can. Get good sleep. I had 8.5 hours of sleep last night. I don't remember the last time I've had that much sleep. I'm often like 5 to 6.5 hours of sleep is pretty standard. I feel decent at 6.5, can function on 5. But getting a good night's sleep, exercising. Oh my gosh, I have been too busy. Yesterday I was too busy. Today I think I'm too busy. I don't think I'll be able to get an exercise in, and it sucks. I mean, it's something that now is just such a mood changer, such a stress reliever. So I could see how people who are not into exercise could see that being the last thing they want to do when they have everything else falling apart. But to me, it's one of the things that, like, if I can get that done, if I can get that in, I'm going to be able to show up so much better, make better decisions, think more clearly, feel less stressed, have those endorphins from working out. And, I just haven't been able to do it the past couple of days. And so I'm eager. I think tomorrow I should be able to get back into the gym. And it's like I said, it's just a huge part of what keeps me going, what keeps my mind right. And I think that also whenever there are difficult times, whenever things are hard, it just makes you appreciate the times that are easy a little bit better. Once you get over those humps, once you get over those hurdles, you feel a little bit better than you did obviously before, but like you just kind of appreciate, you have a kind of a new lease on life, if you will. I think anytime somebody, experiences something, has a devastating thing happen, a takeaway can be that they can appreciate what they have or who's around them, who's in their life more. And I think that's a really helpful thing to think about when it is a difficult time, is that once you get through this, those little pet peeves, the little things that bother you just won't as much, because you're not dealing with this other massive headache. Or, it's kind of like, if you're a sick person, the only thing they want is to not be sick, right? And so that's something that we take for granted all the time when we're healthy. And I'm sure anybody that's lost loved ones would just want to be with them again. And how often do we take for granted the people that are around us? So when you have hard problems, just realize that's going to help you appreciate when you get through them. And your capacity to handle difficult situations grows. And so it is all really relative. Like, so I remember what stressed me out when I first got into business is laughable. like the things that bothered me, that kept me up at night, that like I had to wake up at 5 a.m. to try to figure out. And I just was, what am I going to do? Are laughable. Sure, that's partly just skill and knowledge, but I think even, 5 years into the game, the things that I was going through, just, this past couple weeks, could have just really thrown me off a lot more than it did. And so, it's another way to look at it too. You're building up capacity, you're building up resilience. You are getting stronger to handle more. And I think those are just helpful ways of looking at problems and difficult periods of your life. So keep that in mind if next time you are going through something hard yourself, and hopefully that helps you. If you have any other ideas or tips for when you go through the valleys of your life, I'd love to hear them. So, drop them in a comment, on Facebook or whatever. DM me. I don't care. I love to hear that kind of stuff. So definitely reach out if this conversation made you think of anything. Now back to the guest here, Chadi Bazzi. Chadi is a real estate coach. He has worked with both the Ferries, so Tom and Mike, and he is on his own doing his own coaching, focusing on listing agents, helping listing agents, dominate or get as much business as they really want. And he's a big believer in, belief. You have to believe that you are a top agent, and to be able to get there. I'm not going to talk about everything he talks about now. I'm going to let him do that. But a big thing I've noticed amongst, other agents or other real estate investors that are really at the top of their game is that they have coaches. And I think it's something that is hard to pull the trigger on. People might be afraid to spend the money on that. They might be afraid that it won't work for them, and then it'll just be money down the drain. They might be afraid of what the coach will make them do because they don't really want to do everything the right way. But if you really want to live your life intentionally and you really want to get the most out of life, and that doesn't mean just being wealthy, selling a lot of real estate. He talked about putting yourself first and then putting your family next, and then your business. If you really want to live intentionally, which is what it takes to live a dream life, a coach is a really good thing. A mastermind is a really good thing. Without that accountability, without that help, you can often just let life happen to you. So, listen to Chadi. Chadi's got some great stuff. He's an energetic person. He can get you fired up. So definitely check out this episode, and don't forget to subscribe on any platforms that you do and leave us a review. We love hearing your feedback, so it helps us keep going. Thank you so much. And without further ado, Chadi Bazzi. Welcome back to the REI Agent. I am fortunate enough to have Chadi Bazzi joining us today out of California. Chadi, how are you?
I am doing phenomenal, my friend. It's an honor for me to be here. Can't wait to get the ball rolling. Let's go.
Yeah, Chadi, I can just tell from just talking to you for a few minutes before we hit record that you've got a lot of energy and you're good at motivating people. Chadi, tell us about what you do.
Yeah, so Mattias, I've been in the real estate industry directly and indirectly now for approximately 25 years. Started off as a real agent in Dearborn, Michigan, which is a suburb of Detroit. Did pretty good, pretty fast in that marketplace, and didn't like check. There was like $700-800, and I was like, this is not what I signed up for. I want to make $100,000. So what I did in 1999 is I picked up my family and I moved to the state of California, and I've never been to California before in my life. And I was like, what am I going to do there? And I was like, hey, this guy, you never really graduated college. Why don't you go get a different kind of college degree? So I went to work for a gentleman by the name of Mike Ferry. I think everybody knows that name. Best decision I've ever made. That's where I really got my education. Got to the point there where I was like literally running the one-on-one coaching department. Got back into real estate in 2004. Took my first listing in the first 24 hours, made over $100,000 in my first 30 days. And then Tom Ferry said, hey, I want you to come help me build up my company. Went there and worked under that umbrella collectively for about 11 years. Fell in love with coaching. And that's exactly what we do right now is we help real estate agents become top listing agents regardless of what marketplace they're in. That's a little short resume.
That's awesome. I love it. How old were your kids? You said family. Were there kids involved? How old were they when you moved? And was that difficult?
Yeah, it was probably the most difficult thing I've ever done. And this is where we can really talk about the sacrifice that we got to make in order for us to really go to the next level. Because a lot of times what we do is, as human beings, we use our circumstance as an excuse. We use our children as an excuse, and I used it as a reason. So when I made the move to California, my son was 2 years old, and I had to leave him with his grandparents in order for me to come out here and do what I needed to do. And that was like literally the most beautiful, miserable 60 days of my life.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. That's a sacrifice for sure. In your coaching and in your career and what you've seen, do you offer any advice for people that are sure we do need to make sacrifices, and we do need to, without massive effort, without massive action, there's not going to be massive results, right? We have to go out and we can't sit back. We have to, do hard work to get to where we want to be. But do you have any suggestions for people that are also looking to not lose out on, their whole kids, childhood and try to have some of that life balance?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good question, because a lot of times, like I said earlier, a lot of us use, our families as an excuse for not doing the things that we need to do. And in reality, I think that the solution to that is, the word discipline. And I'm talking about discipline to do the things that you need to do when you're supposed to do them, not just when you feel like doing them. Yeah. And if you're showing up to your place of work as you should every single day and doing your job as you should every single day, that's not going to get in the way of your family life. And at the end of the day, you're responsible for your schedule. Like a lot of people, what they do is they don't really plan. They just go. So the way that we plan is a little bit differently. Like the way I teach my clients on how to do this so they don't miss out at any time with their family is the way that we coordinate our schedule is as follows. The first thing that goes into your schedule as you set it up every single week is you, because you got to take care of you. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to take care of anything else. The second thing we put into our schedule is our family. The third thing that goes, which is the last thing that goes in our schedule, is the business. What most people do is they put the business first, okay? And then if they have any time, they spend it with the family. And by the time they get to themselves, they're totally burned out. And then they say, this is not what I really signed up for. Well, this is the opportunity for you to achieve freedom in real estate. Where can you make the kind of money that we make here? It's ridiculous. It's just that a lot of people are operating that backwards. So if you have the right plan and follow the plan, then you will be A-okay. I don't know anyone that's missing out with time with their families or anything like that. I have agents that I'm working with right now that are earning seven figures, working like 4.5 days a week. Yeah.
I mean, I think one of the things that I preach a lot too, and that you've hit on too, is just, I think you just have to have intentionality. And I think a lot of people find that very difficult if they are approaching it the way that you said, backwards, where they are so just, following every whim of the business and doing that first. They don't, take care of the other things, and they don't, and then to think about having that space to be intentional, to putting yourself first, to putting your family first. It seems impossible when you are drowning, right? So I can imagine having a coach, having somebody like say, just hold on, wait, stop. Let's figure out where you want to go. Let's figure out how you're going to get there, and let's put the right things in the right order so that you can really get the life that you want. Because, at the end of the day, if you're making $1 million, like, it doesn't really matter if you miss your whole family growing up, or, you're going to have a heart attack and die. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And if I could say something about that, is that a lot of people, what they do is they put the money before anything else. And I personally know people that are making like literally $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 a month, not a year. And they are now in a place of life to where they would give up that money for just an average family dinner. But the family is so broken apart because that one only pursued the money and didn't really take care of their family. So at the end of the day, you got to choose what it is, how you want to end up in the future, not just right now.
Yeah, I love it. And I mean, we're coming up on the end of the year, right? We're not too far away. And I think that another thing people often do is put off business planning. I imagine that you coach people on that as well. And is that kind of what people should be thinking about at this time? We at the time of filming, we're at the end of October here. So
yeah. So the answer is yes. we do things a little bit differently when it comes down to like an actual like annual business plan kind of thing. Like a lot of people want to create like a 15 to 20 page business plan.
Yeah.
I always tell these people, like, at this time of the year, your business plan from last year that you created 15, 20 pages, that's supposed to get you to where you want to get to. How often did you look at it? How often did you follow it? You
Sure.
know, where you at with that? So we simplify the process to a simple 1-page business plan. 1-page business plan. And the goal is to look at that plan once a week. It's only 1 page. It's not going to take a lot of time. If it's 15, 16, 17 pages, you're going to like literally navigate away from that at any cost. Most people won't even read a 17-page book that can change their life. They're not going to read the business plan. So we just keep it nice and simple to 1 page.
I love it. That's true. I mean, I think that anything you can have, and if you can put them in creative spots, throughout your house, it's another great life hack to try to revisit. And the Miracle Morning is another book that I've read and a lot of people have referenced, but I think, having intentional time where you are kind of refocusing and recentering yourself and setting, putting your rudder down of your ship, right, to get you to where you want to go. That makes a lot of sense. I was going to ask you too. So I know a lot of agents have never had a coach. Some of them would be fortunate enough to have a mentor. Some of them would be fortunate enough to, be on a team maybe where they get good leadership, good guidance. Sell me on a coach, because it's an expense. I mean, and that's something that people are often, if it was free, they probably would have no problems with it, but it is an expense. So sell me on getting coaching as a real estate agent.
Yeah, I mean, there's many different ways to really answer that question. For me, a coach is the way I define it is tough love. The way I define a coach is a navigation system. The way I define a coach is not a friend, because, most friends that you go to for advice or anything like that, they're pretty much going to tell you exactly what you want to hear because they don't want to hurt your feelings and they just want to get you off their back. A coach is someone that's going to look you straight in the eyes and say, hey, man, what do you want? What do you want? Because most people don't know what they want. So a coach is going to help you discover exactly what it is that you want. And they're going to take it a step further, Mattias, and they're going to say, why do you want it? Why do you want it? So basically, a coach is going to connect this and this to the point to where you are going to have that energy every single day that's going to rip you out of bed to go out there and accomplish the things that you want to accomplish, because that coach gave you the exact navigation system that you got to follow every single day by saying, these are the 5 steps. And I don't want you to take a look at steps 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're only going to focus on step number 1. We're going to document what's working. We're going to document what's not working. I'm going to hold you accountable to show up. I'm going to hold you accountable to do the work. I'm going to work with you on doing that work to the best of your ability. And then we're going to move on to step number 2, step number 3, step number 4, and step number 5. So a coach is someone that's going to tell you what you don't want to hear and show you what you cannot see so you can become exactly who you want to be.
Yeah. I love it, Chadi. I mean, that's again, back to like you are providing an ability for somebody to live their life intentionally. And if you do not live your life intentionally, life will happen to you, right? I mean, it's going to happen. You're just going to be reacting to things. And if you really want to live a good life, if you want to have a happy family, be in good shape, be successful, travel, whatever you want in life, first you got to define it, right? And then, you have to be intentional about getting there. I also interview a lot of real estate investors on this podcast, and a lot of the high performing people, I would say many, if not all of them, have a coach, have somebody that is that they go to, as well as they probably pay for a mastermind as well to put them in a room with people that are also high achieving people in their field, to help run things through, to give them new ideas, to have partnerships, all that kind of stuff. And that's another thing that people I think would have a hard time spending money on, but it takes you to the next level for sure.
Yeah, and I think the reason that a lot of people don't make such an investment is because, number one, they either don't believe that it's going to work, or number 2, they don't believe that it's going to work for them because they see it working for other people, or they just really don't trust themselves to follow through on that which they need to follow through, which all equates to one word, and that one word is the fear of not working out.
Mm-hmm.
This is exactly the main reason why someone should, get a mentor, get involved in a mastermind group, hire a coach, or the likes of that. I just got a video from one of my clients yesterday, one of our newest clients. And this is a man that was like on the verge of like, do I leave my 9-to-5 job to go all in on real estate or not? And I had the questions before I say, hey, I really totally believe that you can do this. And this guy appeared to be someone that like literally knew exactly what he wanted. He knew exactly why he wanted it. And he really cared about creating a better life for his family. So basically I told him to F off and get rid of his freaking damn stinking thinking and go all in on real estate. I said, I believe in you and I will hold your hand every step of the way. Now, the video that he sent me yesterday pretty much says, hey, that one conversation changed my life forever. 90 days later, 6 deals closed and $90,000 in the bank. Boom.
Wow.
Boom. All we had to do is get him out of his head and get him to make the investment, get him to buy in, put the fear aside and work on the belief system. It really is that simple. Anyone that's watching this video, anyone that's listening to this podcast, you too, I'm talking to you right now. Okay, get out of your freaking damn head. Ask yourself the question, what do I want? Why do I want it? And am I willing to do whatever it takes? And if the answer is yes, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, then I want you to seek out a mentor, whether it's me, whether it's Mattias, whether it's someone else on the internet. I don't care who it is. We're all great and we can all help, but you got to raise your hand and say, help.
Yeah. And another thing that comes to mind when you're saying that is you've got to get out of the victimization mindset. A lot of people are stuck in that I could do this if we talked about this earlier with like family, but there's a lot of circumstances that people say that, are holding them back from doing what they want to do. And in reality, like, if you take full ownership of your situation, of your life, that's the only way to really progress. And once you accept that, then you can define what you want and go after it, like you're saying. So absolutely, I'm feeling motivated.
Yeah, look, the circumstance has got to become the reason. The circumstances are the reason. And then one of the things that I brainwash my clients on waking up to every single day and saying to themselves all day every single day is my favorite quote, and that is, if it is to be, it is up to me. If it's to be, it is up to me. I am responsible for everything. I'm responsible for everything.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, 100%. And this is something that I think people need to hear, especially now. I think there's a lot of, especially in my market, I don't know how it is in other markets. You would have a better pulse on that. But I think in my market, there's a lot of kind of restlessness. People are kind of half checked out, half looking for, the next broker or whatever, or starting their own brokerage or something to solve that feeling of like kind of restlessness, of unease. The market's changed and now we have the lawsuit and all that kind of stuff. And I think, if you get motivated back into like what you're talking about, like where, I need to solve, I need to refocus on my business. I need to get to where I want to go. That's what you need to refocus on, not, the outside, the inside, right?
Yeah, I'll say this completely differently, Mattias, and I'll say it like this. I'll say that, when you focus on the problem, your goals go away. And when you focus on your goals, your problems go away. Okay? So it's like, where are you putting your focus? Like, a lot of people say market this and market that. I said we don't pay attention to the market because we create our own market. The market is going to go up and the market is going to go down. I just want to claim my little share of that market, the up market or the down market. And how do I do that? By doing A, B, and C every single day, by keeping the focus on the goals, by keeping the focus on the why, by keeping the focus on me showing up and doing the 2-3 things I got to do every single my business moving forward. So here's the way that we set up our day. So if I can give a little bit of coaching on how we set up our day for our clients. Okay. We split our schedule into 3 different parts. Okay. 3 different parts of the schedule. Part 1 is from the time you wake up till the time you get to the office. And this is what we call get in the zone. Get in the zone. From the time you wake up to the time you get to the office, you should be working on specific things. You should have a ritual. You should have a process to get your mind right, to get your energy right, to get your focus right, to get your skill right. That's what you do. And then from 8 a.m. or whatever time you get to the office to the time you break for lunch, this is the second segment we call Get the Business. Get the business, meaning you're not taking incoming phone calls. You're not checking emails. You're not checking notifications. You're not on Instagram. You're not on Facebook. The only thing that you're doing is you're hunting for your next transaction. And then after lunch, you do whatever the heck you want to do. And that's called servicing the business. Because if you do part one and you do part two, you'll have something to do in the afternoons. If you don't do part number one and you don't do part number two, my gosh, what an afternoon you're going to have. It's going to be horrible.
Yeah, I love it. What are some tips you'd give to an agent? We could say somebody starting off in the business, because I think the tips would probably apply to somebody who's been seasoned as well. But how would you suggest somebody starting out go out and get some new listings?
Yeah. So basically, obviously a given is like, hey man, the first thing that you should do is you should pick up your phone and call every single freaking damn person in your phone and let them know that you are in real estate. And if you see a number and you're like, I kind of don't want to call that person, then you need to delete that freaking number from your phone. It doesn't belong on your phone. So that's step number one. For most people, that should take less than a day. Get that over and done with. The second thing that we tackle is for sale by owners. For sale by owners. I had this woman come to me out of Dallas, Texas. She was 1.5 years in the business, Mattias. 0 transactions closed. She's throwing in the towel, ready to get out of the business. And I asked her, why'd you get in the business? Is it still important to you? She's like, yeah, she gets involved in the coaching program, takes 22 listings in 9 months from one category in one category only. 22 for sale by owners, brought in over $300,000. Wow. So for me, go after the for sale by owners. They want to sell their home. Now, most people are not going to go after the for sale by owners because they're scared of the for sale by owners, or they got the wrong mindset of like, hey, they don't want to work with an agent or whatever. Well, thank you for thinking that, because you make it easier for me to get the listing, because I believe the total opposite. So, we get them to have the right mindset around that, and we get them to have the right skill set around that, and then they just take listings. The third category is expired listings. I got a woman 3 years in the business right now. She's taking one expired listing every single week on average. One listing every single week just from one category. 3 years in business, we'll do 100 deals this year with 0 money spent on ad set. So for us, these are the top 3 go-to categories for getting business. And I don't care if you're brand new in the business or you're a seasoned agent in the business. Just took on a new coaching client out of Indiana, I think. And she's been in the business for like 20 years. She's never, ever, ever picked up the phone and called on an expired. Within the first 10 days, she picks up the phone, calls up an expired, just took a $1.3 million listing.
There you go. There you go. And, I think, again, without that intentionality of, setting up your day the way you're talking about, and without having that structure, it's easy then to have a success in that kind of field and then get busy and stop, getting the next week, like you get a listing, you get whatever, a couple listings, and you work on those, and then you're forgetting to call the new ones that are out there. So
exactly.
It's good to have that routine to keep yourself going, or else you'll find yourself in a slump.
Exactly. So Mattias, like we have, a couple of different programs in which how we work with our clients. Obviously, I got a few, select, private clients that I work with, and those are like my most successful clients. And then we have, the group coaching mastermind and all that good stuff. And, one of my private clients is on track to do, I don't know, probably like $1.3, $1.4 million in commissions this year. And I think it's like her 3rd or 4th year in the business. Wow. So a lot of people like ask me the question, like, what do you work with her on that you're not working with me? Now I'm working with you on the same exact thing. The difference that makes the difference with this person is if we get on a 30-minute call, we're spending 5 minutes talking about business and 25 minutes talking about keep on growing your mind, keeping your emotions in check, and being the absolute best version of yourself. So I always tell every single person, look, there's the business and then there's the business owner. Okay, the business is a reflection of how well equipped the business owner is. So if you are in a good state of mind, if you are in a good state of emotions, and you have the right energy and you show up to your business, you're going to have a rocking business. If you're mentally out of whack and you have no energy, you have no focus, you have no purpose, you have no why, your business is going to freaking damn suffer. So I tell every single person, work more on you than you work on your business.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, yeah, it's easy. I look back on the problems that overwhelmed me earlier in my career, and I look at when I have a lot of problems now, and I just laugh, because you kind of can make a mountain out of a molehill, and you kind of have to rise up to, bigger and bigger and bigger molehills, right? And it's all perspective. So, I mean, your mentality is really what's important there. You can handle a lot more than you think. There's always room to grow, because it can get stressful. It really can. There's problems that happen for sure. I wanted to ask about, is there a point in a person's career that you advise them to start delegating, growing teams, transaction coordinators, assistants? Talk about that a little bit for me.
For sure. Transaction coordinator from transaction number one, right away.
Okay.
That's that. I don't want you to learn that job. I mean, some people don't follow that advice, but for the most part, that's exactly what I tell every single person. Look, you got into this mindset to grow the business. We're definitely going to grow the business. There's no ands, no ifs, no buts. Don't worry about spending $350, $400 for a transaction coordinator, et cetera. And then, it's different for every single agent. Like, I'll give you an example, like the agent that just made $90,000 in 90 days. Okay. First 90 days. Okay. For that person, like we went into it with like, we're going to do whatever it takes. We're going to make this freaking damn thing work. Assistant right away. Mm-hmm. Okay. So because you knew you're going to make it. Now, right. For everyone else, I say like, once you get to the point to where you're doing like 2 transactions every single month consistently, and you want to grow to 3 or 4 transactions a month, then that would be a perfect time for you to get an assistant. And if you don't get an assistant, then you are the assistant in your business, and you're never ever going to grow your business. And that's why most people have the peaks and valleys, because they get so busy and there's nobody to assist them in taking care of the busy work. So they got to go do that. So they stop the work that gets them the business, and then they have to start all over again in 60, 90 days.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about what an assistant would do for the person that's just, got it from day one, or in general.
Well, the first thing that they are going to do is they got to make sure that they are organized. They're organized. I mean, in the beginning, because there's really not that much business going on. So they're going through the things like, research and studying and, learning how to put a transaction together and all that good stuff. And a lot of times, if you work with a good broker, they already have all these systems. They just pass them on to that person, and that person does like a lot of, practice checklist and all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. The second thing that they're going to do is they are going to be your accountability partner to show up every single day. And you want to set it up in a way to where you're reporting your numbers to them every single day. You're reporting your activities to them every single day. You're submitting. So basically, you can treat them as an assistant that's doing absolutely nothing, or you can treat them as an assistant that's also an accountability partner and kind of a coach for you. And that's exactly what a good assistant will do for you. Now, is it that simple to find such talent? I think you and I both know in this industry, there's a huge turnover of assistants, and you're probably going to have to go through 2, 3 to find the right one. Some of us get lucky and get it right away. I got people have been working with me for 12, 13 years right now. So I guess I'm lucky, but I know exactly why I'm lucky, because I wake up every single day and I tell myself I'm the luckiest freaking damn person I know.
The hiring and the delegation is a skill in itself, and I think it's the trap that people can get stuck into, and they're not going to grow. They're going to get burnt out and things. Delegating the tasks, the things that don't bring you joy, that don't really bring you value in your business either, but they have to get done. It's a key thing. So it's another lesson to learn for sure.
Yeah. Now I'll tell you one of the things that we have the assistants do from the get-go. Because there's literally not that much for them to do transactional wise, is they're spending a lot of time in the DMs, like in the DMs. So basically what they're doing is they're triggering conversations with everyone that we have on Facebook, with everyone we have on Instagram. And we send out a very simple message that pretty much says, hey, Mattias, looks like we've been connected for a while. Okay. But never really chatted. Thought I'd break the ice and say hello, kind of thing, and they're doing that on their agent's account, and that triggers conversations, and sometimes that leads to transactions. So we're also getting them in the habit of conversating with people behind the scenes.
Yeah, well, and I guess in doing that kind of thing, and when you're reaching out to people, do you coach them to how do you feel about what's the approach when you're talking to prospects that may not buy anything, have no desire to buy anything right now, or maybe they will in the future? I think what I'm getting is I think I see sometimes people want to talk about how successful you are. They want to broadcast all the closings they've had, and in my opinion, I don't think people really care. So I think there's strategies of providing value, providing something of substance to the people that they actually care about. And can you talk to that at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest piece of value that you can give them is your attention. It's your ear. It's your comment. It's your share. It's not a piece of, like a marketing, piece that says, here's what the market is doing. I mean, that's great. I'm not saying don't do that. As an expert, you should be broadcasting that to your audience, et cetera. But at the end of the day, it's making them feel like they are a human being, and you're not calling them and you're not mailing them and you're not doing all these things for the sake of a transaction. So I think that the less that you focus on the transaction and the more that you focus on the interaction, that becomes the value piece, is the interaction. It's the relationship. So a lot of people get stuck on like, what do I mail out? What do I email? What video do I do, and all that good stuff. And I think at the end of the day right now, where the real magic is happening in terms of like any kind of marketing is inside the DMs. It's not happening on the timelines.
Okay, cool. I like it. I like it a lot. Any other strategies you would suggest to somebody looking to really level up their business?
I think, hire a coach. I think that is going to be the shortcut.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah, I'll give some free advice, but I mean, for the people that have been on the fence on getting involved with anyone, it doesn't have to be me. I'm not a fit for every single person. I think the shortcut to where you want to get to is a mentor. It's a coach. It's a mastermind. Now, for everyone else, I'm going to say, find your guru, whoever it is. If you can't afford to hire them, or you're not in a place to where you can make that kind of commitment right now, that's perfectly fine. And just follow just one person. Because if you're going to go to my YouTube channel, which we have like 700 videos, I mean, that alone can increase your income by $100,000, and it's all free education. But if you're going to go there and watch one video, then you're going to go to the other guy and watch this other video. Then you're going to go watch this other guy, watch this other video. And then you'll be like, well, he said a little bit of this, he said a little bit of this, and she said a little bit of that. How about I put them all together? Well, that's a not proven system. This is a proven system. That's a proven system. That's a proven system. Pick one path and follow that path until you make it work. So at the end of the day, I think that everything that any kind of level that they want to is available on YouTube and Google, etc. It's just that people don't really know what they want, so they don't know what to look for to get to where they want to get to. Other than that, man, if you ain't got the kind of business that you want, the only thing that you should be doing is talking to people all day, every single day. Talking to people all day, every single day. The other thing that I will tell anyone that wants to go to the next level is you need to spend a good 30 to 60 minutes every single day sharpening your axe. Sharpening your axe simply means that you are developing the skills of influence that you need to influence people to side with you and do business with you if they are in a place to where they want to do a transaction. So now people say, hey, which sales skill should I focus on more than anything? I'll tell you what, right now, which skill you should learn last, and that is objection handling, because that's where everybody wants to go. I want to go learn how to handle objections. I say, no, you don't need to learn how to handle objections. You need to learn how to present in a way that gets absolutely no objections. So for our clients, what we do, okay, and I'm going to try to pull up a picture right now and show you. What we do is we focus more on the listing presentation than any other skill, okay? And look at this guy. This is the guy this is the guy that did $90,000 in 90 days. Why is he blindfolded? Because I want to get you to the point to where you can do a presentation with blindfolds on. This is what we call unshakable confidence. And when you have the unshakable confidence, there's no more doubt. There's no more questions in your mind. There's absolutely no fear. So go all in. Right now, we're doing this and, we got a couple months left. Your only focus by the end of the year is to have the best listing presentation in your marketplace. That alone is going to give you more courage to speak to more people. And the more people you speak to, the more transactions you're going to do. That's my best piece of advice.
I love it. One of the things that I teach too is real estate investing, and when you talk about sharpening your axe, I think that is an unintended consequence of getting into some of the investing that I've gotten into. So I've helped numerous remodel projects, flips, doing BRRRR strategy where we're flipping and essentially just refinancing and keeping the property, and the unintended consequences that I understand houses a lot more. It's kind of like maybe a car salesman having a mechanic's background. And I'm not doing the work, don't get me wrong, but I have to encounter problems all the time. Going to home inspections is another way I think that people can really start understanding the houses more, and that in turn I can provide more value to my clients. So I can have a decent idea. I can have a vision of a house, what it could be. That could be on the listing side, that could be on the buying side. And I can help them get contractors to carry out the vision and have a rough idea about cost. I try to, preface that with, you're going to have to get your own estimates because costs vary and, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, I have a lot more knowledge than the average agent on the, things that make up a house. And that's a skill that I didn't realize is can be very valuable, but it has been huge in my business.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So look, at the end of the day, real estate is nothing more than a conversation that you have with people. That's all it is. It begins with a conversation. And the better you are at having a conversation, the better outcomes you're going to produce. The worse you are at having those conversations, the less likely you are to have any conversations, which means you're going to have very little transactions.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Now, Chadi, I am curious. You seem like a man that sharpens his axe a lot. Do you have any go-to books that you think everybody should read, or something that you're currently really enjoying that you can recommend?
So if we go across, every single top agent I've ever, worked with in the last 25 years, if you ask them the same exact question that you asked me right now, can you recommend just one book that can totally transform your life forever? We're all gonna we don't even know, we're all like being asked that question, and I guarantee you 100% of us are going to recommend the same exact book, and the book is called The Magic of Believing by Claude Bristol, because this is all about belief. See, the thing is, somebody a long time ago asked me the question, Chadi, what is the difference between a mega top producer and an average person? I didn't even know the freaking damn answer. And I was like, this. And he's like, no. He goes, the difference is the average person believes he is average, therefore he acts accordingly. The top agent believes he is a top agent, therefore he acts accordingly. So basically, the actions that you are taking are dictated by that which you are believing. So if you level up your belief system, you level up everything. Best book ever. Go get it now. Let's drive Amazon crazy this week.
That's a new one. We haven't had that one on the podcast yet. I haven't read it, haven't heard of it. So
you got to get it. You got to send me a picture of it.
Right. I'll tag you on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So now, if people want more content from you to listen to, you already mentioned YouTube. Are there any other channels that they could go to find more about you?
Yeah, I think the best place is to just follow me on Instagram. That would be the place that we spend the most amount of time, and that's a place where we engage with everybody. So follow us on Instagram. Say hello. No sales pitch. Don't worry about nothing. We just want to be friends.
And they can just search Chadi Bazzi on Instagram, right? We'll link it.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Chadi, I am feeling fired up. I've had quite a difficult week of problems, and your conversation here is pumping me up again. So I really appreciate it. I can see how effective you'd be as a coach. So thank you so much for taking your time and joining us today and inspiring the people that are listening.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you having me on, and I look forward to doing this again with you in the future.
Thanks for listening to the REI Agent.
If you enjoyed this episode, hit subscribe to catch new shows every week.
Visit reiagent.com for more content.
Until next time, keep building the life you want.
All content in the show is not investment advice or mental health therapy. It is intended for entertainment purposes.